In crypto, we're all so used to the noise, the hype, the drama, the tribalism. It's constant. But sometimes the most important signals are actually the quietest ones. Today, we're going to dissect one of those signals. It's a subtle but really powerful shift between two giants, Cardano and XRP, that I think most people are completely misreading.
So you really need to pay close attention to this, because what just happened between Cardano and XRP, well, it's not just some random anecdote.
It's not just a friendly phrase tossed out there, and it is definitely not a coincidence.
No, this was a clear, calculated signal that something fundamental is changing in the crypto ecosystem. And the thing is, almost no one is interpreting it correctly. This isn't just about two communities squaring off. It's a message for the entire market about where we are all headed.
So, okay, what was this unexpected signal? Let's get right into the specifics of what was actually said, and maybe even more importantly, why it matters so much.
So, Cardano's founder, Charles Hoskinson, he came out and publicly acknowledged something that I'm sure a lot of people in his camp found, well, pretty surprising. He said that XRP has a tangible, real-world use case. He got specific, too. He pointed to how effective it is for payments and its incredible ability to move huge amounts of value across borders.
And here's the part that's so important about this. He didn't talk about price, he didn't talk about hype or market speculation, he focused purely on the technology and its utility. You have to understand, when a protocol architect of his stature shifts the conversation to fundamentals like this, it's a huge sign that the ground is shifting beneath our feet.
Now, to really get why this is such a big deal, you have to understand that these two projects, they represent a fundamental clash of philosophies. This isn't just about different code bases, it's about culture, it's about vision.
I mean, let's be real. These two projects have always operated in completely different lanes. Cardano is all about that academic rigor, a slow, methodical, peer-reviewed build toward maximum decentralization. And XRP? Well, it's laser-focused on financial speed, immediate liquidity, and integrating with institutions. They were never really direct competitors, which honestly just makes this moment even more fascinating.
This analogy just sums it up perfectly. Cardano builds like a university, right? Painstakingly building this robust, secure foundation, almost like a research project. XRP, on the other hand, operates like a high-speed financial highway. It's designed for one thing and one thing only: brutally efficient value transfer. Both are totally valid approaches, but they serve entirely different masters.
So naturally, this statement set off an absolute firestorm in the XRP community. It pretty much split them into two clear camps. The majority, about 60%, saw it as total validation. Finally, a major figure admitting what they've been saying for years. But a pretty significant chunk, the other 40%, felt this deep distrust, seeing it as opportunistic, especially now that the regulatory winds are starting to shift.
And you know what? That skeptical reaction from part of the community, it points us directly to the hidden factor here. This is the piece of the puzzle that explains everything, especially the timing of this statement: regulation.
This really is the million-dollar question, isn't it? Why now? I mean, after years of tribal warfare and keeping a clear distance, why would the founder of Cardano choose this specific moment to acknowledge a rival?
He wasn't just speaking in a vacuum. The context here is absolutely everything. Think about it. XRP has just weathered one of the most significant regulatory attacks in crypto history and survived. The US is finally, slowly, inching towards clearer rules. And all this time, Cardano has maintained an extremely cautious and prudent regulatory profile. Hoskinson's statement, then, is a strategic recognition that the big institutions are now in the game and they're starting to decide which technologies are acceptable for the long haul.
And what all this really points to is a much larger trend. What we're witnessing are the signs of a more mature market, one that is slowly but surely moving beyond pure ideology.
An honest critical look shows that both projects have clear trade-offs. Cardano's security is absolutely top tier, but its development is slow and adoption is still pretty limited. XRP's efficiency is just incredible, but that comes with clear centralization and a dependence on traditional finance. The key here isn't to ignore these realities, but to actually understand them.
This is really what it all boils down to. The entire ecosystem is professionalizing. We are entering a phase where tangible, real-world utility is starting to weigh more than ideological purity. The tribal chants are getting quieter as the real-world applications get louder.
So if we look ahead to the next couple of years, say 2025, 2026, this trend is only going to accelerate.
We can expect to see fewer tribal wars. We're going to see a greater push for interoperability between different chains. We'll see the rise of specialized blockchains that do just one thing, but do it exceptionally well. And market narratives are going to be driven more by institutional capital and way less by retail emotion.
All of this, the statement from Hoskinson, the regulatory context, this whole market shift, it all funnels down to one powerful conclusion. We are witnessing the beginning of a brand new era for crypto.
The debate is just no longer about Cardano versus XRP or Bitcoin versus Ethereum. That whole framework is becoming obsolete. The old rivalries are basically dissolving in the face of a much, much bigger reality. So the real question we should be asking ourselves is this: are we as investors, as builders, as participants in this space, are we truly prepared for an ecosystem where utility is king and where pragmatism outweighs passion?
Because let me tell you, if even staunch figures like Charles Hoskinson are beginning to publicly acknowledge the value outside of their own tribe, then it's clear. The era of my coin is the only coin maximalism is finally and definitively coming to an end.
And as always, just a quick reminder that this content is for educational purposes only. It is not financial advice. Please make sure to do your own thorough research.